Okay, today we're doing a shot breakdown of the final scene of season 1, episode 3 of Black Mirror. If you haven't seen the episode yet, make sure you go watch it and then come back. We'll wait here for you. Okay, the final scene of 15 Million Merits uses binary colors, contrasting camera angles, and didactic music to convey a sense of moral ambiguity to its audience. Before we get started on the shot breakdown, let's actually take a look at the full scene first.
You can blame me, try to shame me, and still I'll care for you. You can run around, even put me down, still.
Once again, in that scene, we're looking for binary colors, the black and white of the room, which are often connected to moral choice, and the gray that Bing is wearing, which represents a neutral decision. We're also looking at contrasting camera angles. There's high angle shots, which indicate the relative powerlessness of the subject, contrasted with low angle shots, which convey power and a certainty in the subject. We also switch between close-up shots, which indicate intimacy and closeness between the audience and the subject, and long shots, which show the subject and the world, but also convey distance from the audience. Lastly, we're listening to that music. There's definitely a didactic shift in the music. We start with a tense song, which slowly builds up tension before turning into the pop song in the second half of the scene, which is a callback and also eases that tension. Okay, so now we're going to once again take a look at shot 1 of this scene, specifically keeping in mind those 3 points and looking for how those are coming into play.
Stream offline.
In this shot, the highly contrasting black and white settings are used to effectively convey the character's emotions. While he's performing his act and giving in to those in power, he's seen within the all-black background. He then finishes up and walks away from the performance. The black background recedes behind him, and he walks into a white setting. These highly contrasting settings are matched by the music in the scene. In the black background, tense music highlights each of his steps, and as he steps further and further away from that setting and into the white, it begins to slow and lighten. This shot also begins to show the contrasting camera angles. For the duration of this shot, the camera uses a long shot, which alienates the character, and the shot is also shot on a high angle. This demonstrates the character's lack of control or power in the scene. Moving on from shot 1, let's take a quick look at shot 2 before we dive into some of the specifics. The extreme close-up of the character's hands in this shot is meant to convey the minute details as he puts the glass shard away and pours himself some orange juice. The music is still continuing to slow down as the character is completely surrounded by the white setting. The only black in the shot is used for the objects, which are reminders of the character's past tough decisions throughout the episode. As we go into the third shot of the scene, keep in mind to look out for those binary colors, the contrasting camera angles that switch from shot to shot, and the music as it changes into the pop song. So shot 3 is a close-up on the character's face. This suggests an intimacy between the character and the audience, as the audience feels like they can understand the character. The low angle of the camera suggests that the character feels like he is in control of the situation. This contrasts, of course, with shot 1, where he was shot at a high angle, indicating the exact opposite. The tense music is fully replaced in this scene by the pop song, which again is a callback to the earlier parts of the episode and also a change in tone for this particular scene. Okay, shot 4 is where we really start to see all of these elements we've been talking about come into play. Keep a close eye out for how the black and the white colors in this shot frame the character's head, and also, of course, the gray hoodie that he's wearing being kind of a balancing tone between those two.
You can blame me, try to shame me, and still I'll care for you.
The close-up shot in this scene again relays an emotional immediacy between the character and the audience. The camera has switched back to a high angle, which is slightly panning down, focusing on the character's face as he stares at something past the camera. While the camera is panning down and coming into focus, we see the white and black backgrounds behind the character. They're shown on either side of his head as his eyes dart back and forth, conveying the emotional confusion that he's feeling. The character himself is wearing gray. He's been wearing gray throughout the episode, but in this shot particularly, it shows the perfect mix between the white and black backgrounds, perhaps symbolizing the character's moral ambiguity in this scene. As we look at shot 5, keep an eye out for how this shot really kind of conflicts with previous shots. It goes against some of the things that the previous shots have set up, and it ends on an uncertain note, which kind of matches what the character is going through.
You can run around, even put me down, still I'll be there for you.
We get to see what the character was staring at in the previous shot as we view him from behind. Screens line the wall in front of him, portraying a forest, which highly contrasts with the sterile black and white room he's in, perhaps showing something he desires. The screens and the linoleum floor tiles also contain the character in several frames, which portrays the importance of the character. Okay, so this shot is fairly different from the other shots in the scene. It's switched back to a long shot, showing that emotional distance between the character and the audience, but it's completely ditched the high and low camera angles, choosing instead to show the character on a level plane. Okay, so once again, we see in this episode that's full of morally ambiguous decisions that the character is forced to make. The final scene uses binary colors, contrasting camera angles, and didactic music to present these decisions and the impact they have on the character as the episode ends. Thank you for watching.
You can blame me, try to shame me,